Hello, guys, and welcome to week 9. This week there will be a lot of big pots, big losses, big wins, obviously big folds, big calls, big bluffs. A lot of action coming, so buckle up and let's go. To kick things started, I open King Jack suited from middle position, get 2 calls from recreationals and 3 bet from reg from the blinds. Obviously, I decide to call, especially when there's recreationals behind. Both recreationals fold. And the flop comes king high, really disconnected, and he bets like 1/3 pot. Obviously, I decide to call here, and I turn a flush draw also, so I'm not going anywhere yet. Another like 40% of the pot bet coming. I checked his stat that yeah, he seems to be solid reg. And now river is a blank, and what I'm thinking here is if he bets now, he 3-bet multi-way and he bets. I don't think that this is bluffed enough for me to call here with, even though I have a good top pair on a 3-bet pot. But I just think that it's so under bluffed lines, so I have to fold here. And obviously I'm paying for you guys to see the hand, and I was right. He has ace king there. So not bluffing, at least this time. How cool is it to flop the nuts, especially against recreation, which is exactly what happens here. And he leads to me, and I decide to raise to get value from 2 pairs and all kinds of draws and such. He calls. Turn is jack. Well, it doesn't change anything from our end because we still have the nuts. And on the turn, I feel like he has a ton of 2 pairs, so I decided to overbet here. And since he has so little behind, there will be only 100 bigs left, and the pot will be almost 400. So I have to call the river no matter what. And the river brings the queen. So there, the board is now paired, and he shoves it in. Meh. This sucks. I think that I played it perfectly until river. On the other hand, on the river as well, there's nothing I can do against the recreation. I have to call like 1/6 of the pot, and he could have, I don't know, all kinds of garbage. Enough hands that I beat that I have to call there, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Am I wrong or am I right? So we started the week, bankroll being at 10,800 and a change. Still playing NL 300 and feeling really, really comfortable of our game. So let's see how it went. In this hand, I open King 5 suited from under the gun. I know it's pretty loose, but there was one extra poster which was very out of line. I get call from him and another recreational as well. The flop gets checked through, and well, I still have king high here. But on the other hand, I could think of betting small for value, getting value from exactly 1 heart hands. And that's exactly what I decide to do. And I get call from real aggro recreational behind me. And here I think that I can't get value obviously from anything calling with worse than king high. And I don't see that much merit in bluffing either. Of course I could do that, but the guy was so aggro that I decided to check, prepare to call a bet if the bet is reasonable sized. And it was, so I'm trusting my read. I was value betting 1 heart hand, and on the river I might be good. And I was. That was awesome hand. Here I get dealt pocket jacks. Button opens, small blind, 3 bets, and obviously I 4-bet for value. Both villains are regs. So the button folds and a small blind decides to call. There we go. The flop comes 4-4-6. So I still have my overpair and write some notes down. And obviously I'm betting for value. And I'm betting the standard 1/3 pot to get value from overcards, flush draws, smaller pocket pairs. You know the thrill. And turn is 9. And now that he checks to me, I think that I could bet small. But then again, it is the widest formation, so he could call me down a little lighter here. So if he has flush draw, pair flush draw, 10s, 9x, something like that, I think that he calls often enough for me to shove it here, because it might look a lot bluffier if I just ship it in. So that's what I decide to do. What do you think? Is this too thin for value? I'm thinking aces or kings are not calling 4-bet pre, so we should be pretty good here. And fair enough, he calls with 7-8, aka open-ender. So this time it worked, but I don't know whether that's the best play or not. Parental advisory: don't try this at home. So I open ace-7 suited from middle position, get call from recreational, and the flop comes 8 high, so I have a gutter, backdoor, straight draw, and ace as an overcard. Now he decides to lead. I don't see merit in raising here because the sizing tells that he probably has something. On the turn he checks, so I decide to turn my hand into a bluff if he would be scared of the jack. And now the river brings 9. So I think that if he was drawing with something, that just missed. And I have ace high. I don't think that it's good often enough, because most of the time I think he has like 4-6, 5-6, something like that. Pair pass draw would be, in my opinion, most of his range. And so therefore I decided to 1.5x the pot, and I get snapped from the middle pair, so well done, Ville. Well, I guess the lesson here is to pick the guys who you bluff. You just don't hit quads that often, especially in bump pot. So here's bump pot. I flop second nuts, or in theory actually 10-8 would be better, so third nuts. And I decide to check because there are a lot of recreationals behind me, and even regs like to try to steal spots, so why not? And a reg right next to me bets 10% of the pot, and Anglo recreational raises big. Now another reg calls, and I don't see a lot of merit on doing anything but just calling here. And the turn is pretty sweet, because now if they were to have like 10x, they don't suck out on me ever again. So now I have actually the second nuts. And now the turn gets checked around. And it feels like they might not have anything there. Busted draws or something like that. So I think it's borderline whether to check or bet. And if I bet, what sizing I should use. This time I decided to bet small because I thought that if someone has a 10, of course they are raising. They have a full house. And they could also raise me here with busted draws as well. And the recreational ships it in with 10-4. Sweet. Hello guys and welcome. Hopefully it's not too dark. I like the vibe here, so... And you don't want to see my face anyways. But another week in the books. I played around 17 hours and again won over 2k. That's just smooth sailing. Calm before the storm, perhaps.
Everything has been feeling like really easy. Of course, there's always ups and downs with poker, but it has been way easier than I would have thought. For the next week, I decided to make a video of 11 steps or principles what I have been trying to follow while making 10K in less than 100 hours, starting at NL 200. So in my opinion, there could be some decent advice or tips on how to crush the micros at least. And even if you are a better player than me, I have learned that most of the time you almost always get some little nuggets from even worse players than you when you talk about strategy and such. But that will be coming next week. Thanks for watching. See you then. Bye.